and trust any of the 2019 mechanisms either, because they still leave a lot of discretion for this PSC, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's an interesting question. And also that same thing would apply from the board, right? If I was sitting on the board, the company can absolutely sustain, the campfire as it currently looks, without having to file for Chapter 11. There's enough equity value there, right? But what the company can't sustain is a situation where, this fire might happen every time, and so when they go and have to try and raise the money to pay for it, the investors are just not going to provide it. And so that's
right.
a little bit. It's an interesting but slightly circular agreement. So in a way, if the legislators could put a firm line under it for the future, and people were to could rely, for example, on the SB 901 mechanisms, then it might be that they can get away with having getting their pound of flesh from PG&E and or the shareholders, and not reimbursing any of the prior fires. But it doesn't look like it for the moment. Nobody thinks they can.
Correct. The other angle, of course, have you heard?
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So, is there anything the legislator can do to, give more comfort about that the law they have and the SB 901 provisions, for the future are good enough, or is there not even enough political support for that?
Well, it would be. Some people have pointed out it would be fairly easy for the legislature to just come back and say the provisions of SB 901 shall apply to 2018 wildfires as well. But that law was so heavily fought, and it took, I've never seen anything like it my whole time in California government. I mean, it was so many false starts and so many lawmakers who just don't understand this world, this utility world, and the inability of some very powerful lobbies who usually dominate California. Their inability to get something more concrete than SB 901 was a fairly significant failure. And so then you take that failure last year and you say, okay, well, what has changed now? Well, we have a different governor, who Governor Brown was very close with PG&E. His chief of staff was a former PG&E executive. He comes from this Northern California mindset that PG&E is very important, and well, he's gone. He was also an older guy with a lot of political capital and strength, and the ability to get the legislature to do whatever he wanted, and he wasn't running for any higher office. Well, he's gone. Now you've got a younger guy with a lot less power and a lot less stuff. And then you also have these fires that were very, very they were more picturesque compared to the Tubbs fire. One of the biggest differences between these fires is there's more deaths, more human deaths. I think the death toll is probably going to get closer to 200 when it's all said and done. Plus you also have some spectacular houses. It's like the Tubbs fire. Where did it burn? Blah, blah. But then these other fires, it's like, okay, well, you have one town in Northern California where 200 people died, and then you have Malibu where Miley Cyrus lives, and all these celebrities and Cher, and so it's just so, these fires are so much more newsworthy. And so you take the failure last year to get something definitive, combined with the current situation. I just think it's not great. So I think it would take some sort of externality to really spur legislative action, and unfortunately, that externality would be something like PG&E bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Now I suppose there is a chance that things get so bad that ends up being the catalyst too. That the legislature looks at this and says, "Gee, it's really, really bad, and we have to act." But they did not seem to believe